just there are lots of ways that you can save money, especially at times when we're adults. Like I just had a tree fall on my house a few weeks ago. I'll put that video in so you could see what it looked like. But it was pretty crazy. So that sort of sent our lives into a tailspin. And at the same time, I was told that the office where I have my massage practice is going to be turned into apartments. And what had started out as a timeline for moving in the fall was moved up to the end of April, which is in like a week. So I've had to shell out more money for rent, which is going to go up because of the new place I had to move into. And so there's a lot of things in your adult life that you are going to have to say, whoa, I can't spend all of my dough on my cute little horsey over here, even though I'd like to. And there are lots of ways that you can cut corners without sacrificing quality and without sacrificing the health of your horse.
Hello, fellow evening equestrians. This is Logan.
You okay? I mean, they look nice. What do you think of them? So with Logan getting back into work, and he's been off for a little bit, I like to do some strengthening stuff lunging. So he does a lot of groundwork before I'll get back on him. Plus, you know, with him being just a little bit sore, we can just do some walk work, maybe a little bit of trot work in the indoor because it's nice and soft. But one thing I do like to do is work on strengthening his hind end and get him to use his core. And there are these things called the Equiband system, and they're like $200 and some. And I have two trainers actually who have successfully used regular exercise bands like the ones for people and a saddle pad that you cut holes in. So these are the people ones. I bought a giant roll of it on Amazon, and I forget what density this is. It might be just medium. And then I took a saddle pad that I don't actually like. I love the color. It's really cute. This is a good color for Logan. But for some reason, the way it's cut, it's like all this extra up here and in the front. And so no matter what, on every horse I've ever used it on, it like ends up moving back and under and this really awkward like bend in it that looks like it probably rubs under the saddle. So I don't really like it for anything strenuous. If we're just doing a walk and a gentle trot, this is good. And I cut holes in it for the generic exercise band system. So some people who have singles, you can use a single. I don't have a single, but it's cool because I have a saddle. So I just put the saddle on and do the exercise band system. It's a little while for your horses to get used to them, so definitely start slow. There's a lot of actual, if you go to like the Equiband info, or if you have a trainer who understands like the Pessoa rig kind of thing, they can really help you out with this sort of thing. I definitely did not do this on my own because I don't know enough about equipment to do things. And it's really important that if you don't know anything about the equipment, don't use it, because you could use it incorrectly and hurt your horse, and then yourself and then your horse, and then you're like in not a good place. So definitely make sure you do some research, consult with somebody who knows more than you do, and start slowly. So I always start with a butt band, make sure he's cool with that, and then I'll put the belly band on. And definitely don't ride with the belly band on unless your horse is really used to it, because if you put it in the wrong place or you do it too tight, it can be like a bucking strap, and that's not a good thing. So definitely use some caution here. And this is, you know, not advice in any way, shape, or form. This is just something that I do, and I have had help with the trainer with, so I am saving a little bit of money, and it does actually help. My massage therapist for him his massage therapist has actually commented on how much more muscle he has. So definitely a tool that can be handy. Okay, so I have the equipment on, and like I said, I'm erring on the side of caution. Nothing is really tight. It's just going to be like a little bit of a reminder for him to use his core and to use his hind end and to really engage properly, so that when we're coming back into work and regaining strength, he's doing it the proper way. So that's really why I like to use stuff like this to help out with the proper muscle chain strengthening. So when I go and I do any sort of lunging or work, obviously we do warm up first. And I make sure he's listening, and I do both directions at the walk for a little while. And I really just do a lot of walk-trot transitions with these bands, and I'm looking more for hind end engagement and how sound he is looking, as well as I want to just make sure his head doesn't start popping up like a giraffe, because then he's hollowing his back and it's defeating the purpose. He's not utilizing the right muscles. So, I just do a lot of transitions. That seems to really work well with him, and he doesn't get into too much of a rut that way. And I'm really looking at soundness, and you can definitely see that he's not totally, especially with that left hind coming up at the trot underneath himself. And that was actually one of the worst abscesses, was his left hind. So he is still a little bit sore there and a little bit hesitant to put that forward. But I know that with the soft ring and, the stuff I've been putting on his feet, he's actually okay. So I just kind of do a lot of this gentle work, and I make sure that he's not exhibiting any pain signals in his face. His eyes don't look pinched. I mean, he's pretty easily going into the trot and the walk, so I'm not overly worried. But this is all that I really like to do with him, and that's kind of what I'm looking for, is just a way to strengthen that hind end and make sure he is using the proper muscles to get him back into shape. So that's about all I will do with him with these bands for the first few times back. Really hardly any trot, mostly just a walk. I want him tracking up from the hind end, right? Yes, you did very well. Yes. And, not pulling his head up and giraffing. I want him he can keep his head down, and I'm not really worried about the front end. I'm just kind of wanting his hind end to work properly. And that's kind of what that does. It just sort of reminds him to bring his legs underneath him and use his core. And just walking and doing like trot to walk transitions is a really good start for that. And then I'm gonna do a little bit more lunging just to see. I'm gonna let him go out in really big circles and straight lines to see if that makes any difference with the way he moves, because he was two-legged lame, and so he was really kind of off and sore for a while, and I want him to be able to move out without having to go around corners. I want him to just kind of move straight. And the massage therapist was here, so she did find a lot of stuff, didn't she? You were really, really off. I know, he really was. In the right shoulder and the right hip, and so there was a lot of stuff, right? So we're just gonna walk and do some long trotting. Just let him keep his head down and stretch out, and just, if he seems like he's sore, then we won't trot, but just kind of let him move out a little bit and see what it looks like. So I hope you found a couple of those tips helpful. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments. I thought I would show you how I kind of use other methods. What are you doing to my face? Oh, thanks. 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 You're so cute. Thanks. Yeah. Okay, I'll put this hood back up because that'll protect me from your lickies.